Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing still really good. Hope you enjoyed the monkey ball run. I got Nasu here, ready to run E.Y.E Cybermancy, and I
Hello.
will take it from here.
All right, we good?
Yep, you're good to go.
All right. And now?
Th-
The moment that I hit enter on that, that's when it is.
Okay,
Because it counts some loading times as well.
okay.
Which is also why I had to run it early, because the first level especially likes to do very long loading times. And if I don't pre-load at the very least, I can get up to 4 minutes, as I found out the other day. Which was fun. Also, we had a pretty smooth opening because the first jump is actually a bit of a slip and slide. But the first of two relatively long waits. So, a bit of background on this and why it's here. Oh. I Define Cybermancy is the 40k fan game that was not, and then after a lot of reworking was eventually. And you'll see as we go through a number of influences that still remain from the 40k days, as well as several other influences that are in some cases a bit more obvious than others, especially once we get to Mars. And my favorite part of the dragon style is, as we just saw, it's very problematic. Hey, first try. This level and Mars are the two areas that the dragon style shows its weakness the most, because as we saw with the jump, it didn't want to actually, even when it was directly over top of the person that I was trying to skip to, latch on and in the sewer, which isn't a terribly common occurrence, it likes to act more like a shotgun. It'll put all of its direction into the nearest person instead of actually who you have the crosshairs on, which causes it to be a bit of an issue. And now for the longest wait in the game, which, according to some of my recent runs, has a bit of difference at times as to how long it actually tends to be. About a 5-second front or back as to how long he waits until he's ready to talk again, looking at you after he tells you to go learn the history of the organization. He doesn't actually make you go, he just waits so long and then is willing to send you on your next mission. It's also one of the areas that I've realized that the AI can be a bit janky, because occasionally there'll be several dudes that decide that they just want to run circles around each other here for some reason. Also, it's not mandatory to kill him at the end each time, but it's sort of a tradition I've gotten into. Good starting jump on this one. There's a dude that'll approach you and quote-unquote give you your mission starting out from here that will occasionally get stuck on you, and that was a misjump. So we're faster to go up here this way now. If you make the jump the first time, though, you basically run along those pipes and save about 5 seconds if you do it perfectly. But next is what could potentially be a time loss based off of how lucky, or based off of physics. For some reason, the physics is not entirely perfect, even though this is direct source. That was the wrong dude. That's an issue. This is an area that has a minor issue where there is one dude, you can see their shadows through here. One dude here, which is your actual target, which has a voice cue when you successfully kill him. And game? And, I guess that's an example of this game is a bit spaghetti. I was hoping that I'd be able to show off my favorite example of the game being spaghetti. But apparently we decided to get an early... Excuse me? Sir? Am I... New Eden, please. He's for some reason not... I was expecting the issue to be me accidentally falling into the pit in the middle, not actually hitting the dude. Sir. Unless his AI is breaking? I've done this run close to 100 times and never actually freaking had him not die from this. I've broken his AI by accidentally shooting another dude, the dude next to him, but... Excuse me? This could be an issue. Because the shadow's still there, so he should still be there. One step there. Sir? Is there a contingency for this kind of thing happening? I've never, ever seen it happen this way. Sir, your shadow's right there. I was expecting the RNG of this level to be the killer for this. There. Let's see. Well, definitely not going to be a PB tonight. If I get lucky, the briefcase will spawn in the bathtub. It's not happened a single time, and it didn't. Sir, can you not? Is it gonna spawn at its usual hiding spot? Nope. The rare room. Now waiting as he transcribes everything. I hope that doesn't happen in, well, the next level, actually. No drone deciding to say hi today this time, though. That's at least a plus for a lack of drones this run, which was worrying. Not gonna get chased by servo skulls all day. That was a bad New Eden.
Oh, Nasu, just wanted to say, since you didn't do it earlier, maybe you should introduce yourself.
Oh. I'm Nasu, variety VTuber, artist is probably where more people in the community would know me from at this point. Mostly working on through my super bloated Steam library, and there's my my preferable example of the spaghetti in this game. The hiccup right there, as the entirety of this level A goes through all of its scripts at once, and B switches all of the friendly AI to hostile. And releases the Gene Stealers. But the next is in a normal playthrough one of the bigger examples of RNG in in the levels. For this particular, for speedrunning, it's not as RNG because you kill the primary RNG thing regardless. Which is, there is a random chance of this dude having a mission to kill him. Which he's actually marked as a sergeant this time. The reason that I do that here instead of the way that it's done by Devastator is because normally he doesn't have a rank, and unlike the barkeep in New Eden, doesn't have a vocal cue for if you kill him. So there's no real way to tell if you've successfully killed him unless you see it. Or if he like this time, for the first time in 150-ish runs, he actually has a rank. Sideways down here because it's slightly faster, even if it does hurt a bit more. And it's extremely rare, but this gutter down here is actually one of the first examples of one of my personal least favorites potential run killers in a standard instance. The gunships, which, regardless of if you cloak or if you do anything to avoid them, have the possibility of just ignoring everything around it and just killing you. Speak of the devil. You can hear it scanning for me even though I'm cloaked. I have no idea what the script... Hi! An entire row of Xenos. That's unfortunate, to a certain degree. Please don't. But there's one of our other examples of duct tape. Reskinned xenomorphs. Oh. These last few levels get a little bit dicey. The next one's...
Nasu, why is this a Fangame, by the way?
Oh, oh, that's right. I got distracted while I was doing that and freaking forgot to mention. But as I mentioned, this was originally meant to be a 40k fan game, and Games Workshop, being Games Workshop, decided, no, you're not allowed to use our stuff, and decided that they were going to do what they always do and cease and desist. So the company, being a small indie group, decided, alright, well, we'll just take what we got, duct tape over some of the 40k bits, like putting a single sheet of metal across the front of the servo skulls that roam around and calling them just drones. And put a bunch of other stuff in it that is quote-unquote legally distinct. Though, the story is not completely lost because these guys actually got to make proper 40k games later down the line. They made Space Hulk Deathwing, and more recently, and far less broken than both of these, Necromunda Hired Gun, which I still need to play, and it's basically this if it didn't get 40k ripped from it. It's got the augmentations, it's got all of the abilities to upgrade, and a plethora of weapons to mess with. Please don't get in my way. Thank you. This level is kind of my bane for this, which is weird because despite calling it Praise the Omnissiah curses me every time I come here. There are between 2 and 3 gunships that go through here, and we've already established why they are issues. Luckily, this one's deciding that it's only going to use the super inaccurate machine gun that it's got on it. Though, hot tip for anyone that wants to get a head start in farming in order to start doing New Game Plus runs on this. This level is super good for farming because of the gunships. Because the gunships give a lot of XP. Say hello to our next duct tape member, the totally not Cyber Demon. And she actually showed up, holy crap. She has been hiding behind these rocks for the past week of attempts on this. So I've had to manually walk my way all the way down. So here is our next, and I freaking forgot to actually put this on my hotbar, but here is the next potential killer. This guy in here wants you to go trader. Problem is that despite his active attempts to make you go trader, he will get hostile if you say the wrong thing. And I even wrote myself a note not to actually say the wrong thing, so... heck, what is it? Is that Minos? No, that's not. So this is a big of an issue. I don't know the code for Mars, because it's not marked as Mars. Heck. I hope that it's saved. Oh no. Oh, frick. Oh, thank God. Not completely dead. PB was dead in New Eden, so, I mean, that was its own thing. The worst dialogue tree in the game. In the run. Especially if you've done like I have and wind up spamming through a lot of them. So it's supposed to be 2, 3, 1, 2, 2. If you accidentally hit 1 twice, like if your hands are shaking because you're like you've lost 4 minutes in something that should have taken at most 2 attempts, he immediately goes hostile because he thinks that you're just trying to trick him into shooting down his orbiting cruiser, which you wind up doing anyway for the run, but you're not, like, he's not supposed to know that. Another thing that's weird that I've noticed is that this compound doesn't actually wind up having a lot of the soldiers like it's supposed to. I mean, I had a strange feeling that there was going to be, excuse me? Why did you randomly decide to go slow? Ah, heck. Interesting. Explain. 2, 2. And I accidentally did the slip and hit 1 on that, so I actually had to listen. And after the results screen comes up, you can kill him and it doesn't matter. Oh, that didn't go. Oh, one of them spawned a drone. The drones are worse than the actual enemies are. Because the drones do a lot of damage, and Psydrain is a lot more damage. Luckily, by New Game Plus X amount of times, you've likely got... Why are you not dying? Got enough contingency in that regard that you at least aren't going to be completely screwed over by that. You have plenty of resurrectors, which isn't a major time loss compared to having to completely restart the level if you get pulled into the dream. This area does have a pretty janky spot. Do not go down this hole until you are certain that everyone is dead, because if they aren't, it can potentially soft lock if you made the mistake, because you actually can't grab this ladder. There is like 3 pixels, which I actually managed to grab finally, and it going up or down does that now. You have to jump out of there 90% of the time. So if you don't have your cyber legs at like +6, you are probably gonna get screwed. A fun fact for a first-time playthrough especially, if you decide to go down that path first. Excuse me, gents. Decent spawn. Don't fall down, because it will send you back to the start of the level. Because your body can't be resurrected at the bottom of a pit. And you are in one of the worst spots you could be. Sir? Thank you. So he has a chance of being either behind the giant thing in the middle of the room or behind one of the side podiums, which is bad because you can't long shot him. And the first guy can be in literally any of the, well, within the bookshelves of any of the other areas, which is an issue because he'll get stuck back there and his AI bugs out so you can't actually get to him. This area has the return of the gunship, which has been a run killer on more than one occasion, actually, because it likes to fire its rockets, like so. Now, it kicked me down into the freaking pit. I hope that it doesn't count that. Unlike everyone else, this guy actually does not have dragon-style immunity. Every other character in this level has it. Well, every other pillar, as they're labeled, has immunity to dragon-style. I have no idea why he doesn't, but it does make it useful. Now for the moment of truth. The deadliest room in the game, and also the room with the potentially most bugs. All these guys have basically infinite psi. If they see you, they will pop like 800 clones. There's also a random chance, I have no idea what affects it, random chance of a fourth guy spawning in here. Which he did. The ending credits will not, or the ending screen will not actually play unless the ability to read the credits shows up, and end of run. The last area is literally just a closing area of explaining the story and sort of giving hints as to what the cobbled together story is amongst all of the translation errors. So this area doesn't matter. But aside from a lot of issues, and by that I mean a lot, could have definitely gone worse. Even with all of its errors, though, the game does hold a special place in my heart because, I mean, throughout 2020, I had no internet for like 3 months. This was the only game that didn't require a pre-setup. So I learned this game inside out, front to back, and due to it keeping my sanity in the year of 2020, it's special to me, even despite all of its jank. And no
jank
crashes.
it has. Boy, it's got a lot of jank, but that was really interesting. I'm glad so many things happened that never happened before. That was something else.
New Eden was something else. Apparently the AI... So, there was the mention of a failed attack, and I got the quote for, "You're not supposed to shoot anyone." If I don't have the quote about peeing in the beer, that means I missed the bartender, and there's a guy... from the angle that you're going at, not even 2 pixels off to the side that you can accidentally hit. And apparently he screwed up the AI multiple times afterward, because when he does that, everyone enters a frantic state.